Now I see my neighbor on top electric pole. Don't be hammer you hold so.
Before, so
Climb every day. Come on, electric bill. You not gree pay.
waiting concern you for there. I beg you, come over here.
Government property, now my property. If you don't come down now, I go report.
Don't be only report. Now report card.
Okay, oh. Dab 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 dab.
Make una no sit down look o.
Hello and welcome. This is OGTV Main News. My name is Bukola Agbakiso. Thanks so much for joining us. Top on the news. Governor Abiodun appoints 2020 Big Brother Niger winner Lekon Youth Ambassador. President Buhari to present 2021 budget estimates on Thursday. State's internally generated revenue drops to 612.87 billion naira in first half of 2020. President Trump leaves hospital. The future belongs to those who believe in the beauty of their dreams.
And on sports news, Nadia Podoroska of Argentina becomes first qualifier in Open era to reach French Open semi-final. These are other headlines when I return on the sports segment of the news. My name is Biodun Alabi. Stay with us.
Now the news in full. The winner of the just concluded TV reality show Big Brother Naija Season 5 Lockdown Edition, Olamilekan Moshood Agbele Shebioba, also known as Lekan, has been appointed as the Youth Ambassador of Ogun State by Governor Dapo Abiodun to be a model of good character, excellence, good virtues, calmness, and integrity that are general attributes of the state. Governor's office correspondent Tunde Olaniran reports that the governor also gave Lekon 3-bedroom bungalow and a sum of 5 million naira. His report.
The winner of the Big Brother Naija lockdown season, Lekon!
Olamilekan Moshood Agbeleshe, also known as Lekon, won the Big Brother reality show Season 5, scoring 60% of the total vote. A native of Odeda in Ogun State, Lekon paid a visit to the state and first to the governor, Prince Dapo Abiodun. It was indeed a rousing welcome. Lekon went through his time at the house and gave thanks to God for his achievements.
This is where I am from, and I'm very, very thankful that you showed your support and you showed your love to me during my time in the house and also after I've left the house. I also want to appreciate the governor for everything he has been doing for the youth in Ogun State, because the truth is a lot of youth empowerment programs have been carried out in Ogun State, and I am actually paying attention, and I would need to pay more attention moving forward to everything that has been happening. And I want to say that I am very grateful and I'm very happy that these things are being looked into in the state.
The governor of Ogun State, Prince Dako Abiodun, announced his appointment.
We have decided that we are appointing you the Youth Ambassador of Ogun State. But to further incentivize you, I want to appeal to you that by being a Youth Ambassador, you will help inspire our youth to channel their energies towards positive engagements and shun vices such as robbery, drug abuse, cultism, advanced fee fraud called 419, cyber crimes, and so on and so forth. To enable you do your job, to motivate you, and also to motivate others. We have also decided that we are giving you a 3-bedroom bungalow. And in addition to that, we'll be giving you a sum of 5 million naira.
The appointment is owing to the fact that he demonstrated the Omoluabi component, which is the primary ingredient of an Ogun State-born Nigerian.
You know, one of the lessons that should be learned from your success is that "20 of you were locked down in this house, and you all hailed from different backgrounds, and you are charged with the responsibility of cohabiting and relating with each other responsibly. And there were rules and regulations that guided your cohabitation. And one thing that you did exceptionally well was that you behaved very responsibly. You are very humble.
Efforts are in top gear to make the state a reference point in the creative industry.
As an administration, we will continue to support, to help unleash the creative energies in our youth. We will continue to support youth like you. We are creating what we call the Creative Arts and Entertainment Village. We're in the final stages of that. The idea will be to help people like yourselves, potential filmmakers, musicians, DJs, artists, and so on and so forth. Help them nurture them to success. And also give our people a place to go to watch a movie, watch a play in production, and so on and so forth.
Olamilekan Moshood Agbeleshe is a graduate of philosophy from the University of Lagos. He is a rapper, singer, and a songwriter, and a proud ambassador of Ogun State. Tunde Alaniro, OGTV News.
Still coming from the governor's office, towards encouraging and motivating teachers in Ogun State, the state is institutionalizing a yearly Best Teacher Prize Award for performing teachers in the primary school, junior and senior secondary schools. Mr. Ayodele Odewugbola of Abeokuta Grammar School won this junior secondary school category. Mr. Adewale Kayode Abayomi of Odua Comprehensive High School, Imoru, emerged winner in senior secondary school category, while Mrs. Akimbiyi Mary Adeyemi of St. Paul's School 2, Makun Shagamu, won the primary school category. Governor's office correspondent Tunde Olaniro has details in this report.
The governor of Ogun State, Prince Dr. Abiodun, has not hidden his desire to ensure that teachers in the state are well motivated and well taken care of. To this end, he instituted the yearly Best Teachers Prize for primary, junior and secondary schools. And the winners are...
The first category is the junior secondary school. And the winner is Mr. Odeobola Ayodele. In the category of the junior secondary school, the winner is Mr. Adewale Kayode Abayomi of Odua Junior High School. In the category of the primary school, you have Mrs. Akibi Mary Adeyemi of St. Paul's Makushaga. We in Ogun State will continue to celebrate our teachers. Mr. Ayodele, we are celebrating you today. To that extent, we are giving you the first prize of a 2-bedroom bungalow.
This announcement didn't only bring about standing ovation, but also a delightful appreciation song from the teachers. The winners were obviously elated, and the reward came as a shock.
Yes, good afternoon, good day to people at home or people around the world. I am Ayodele Odeobola, a teacher from Abeokuta Grammar School Junior. Concerning how I feel so delighted because it has shown today, to me personally, that hard work pays. My message to other teachers goes thus: hard work pays. If you're committed, you're dedicated in your classrooms, you're pushing hard to make sure that your students get enough of learning practices, do not relent. A day is coming.
This year's Teachers' Day is a low-key celebration in Ogun State due to the COVID-19 pandemic, but the teachers in Ogun State are highly motivated to deliver qualitative education to the students. Tunde Olaniro, OGTV News.
Artisans and entrepreneurs in Ogun State have been reminded on how pivotal they are to the developmental agenda of the current administration in the state. This was the view of dignitaries during the maiden edition of 2020 World Trade Day organized by the State Ministry of Community Development and Cooperatives. Ife Sholade covered the event held at the June 12 Cultural Center, Kuto, Abeokuta. This report.
The 2020 edition of the World Trade Day with a workshop and lecture tagged Artisanship and Entrepreneurship Development, the new normal in a post-pandemic economy, was witnessed by government functionaries and delegates of entrepreneurs and artisans.
We want to celebrate them. We want to welcome them officially to the state government to see who are the people that are partnering with them, who are the people moving the economy of the state together.
The essence of the gathering of representatives from different artisan and trade groups is to integrate them with the plans of the state government and broaden their scope on how to sustain their businesses with the aid of technology.
For fear of catching the virus, so how do I sell my market? How do I sell my trade? How do I interact with people? How do I get people to buy my products? We have to invest globally. We have to go into social media.
Entrepreneurs who are not on the shelter, they have to start moving their business activities online. However, not everything could be solved confidently online.
Commissioner for Community Development and Cooperatives, Honorable Ganiu Hamzat, in his address, reminds the group representatives of their roles and impact on the socio-economic growth of Ogun State in particular and Nigeria in general.
Globally, trade associations, artisan groups are used as veritable vehicles for achieving rapid economic growth of any nation. Hence, it is the desire of Queen Dr. Abiodun's administration to continue to strengthen all trade associations and artisan groups through the Ministry of Community Development and Cooperatives, so as to serve as bridge between the government and the people.
Chairman of Ogun State Trade Council, Mr. Simeon Bankole, appreciated the efforts of the state government at ensuring that artisans and traders are immensely recognized and included in the developmental agenda of the state. Questions, suggestions, and complaints on some challenges encountered by artisans were highlighted.
Offloading and reloading will not make it marketable again when we get to the market. The governor should please see to our plight.
We need government to help us out, to give us some amount to start a business. So far, banks can loan us with the money. Why not governments? Representatives of government and security agencies present promised to adequately and expediently swing into action for the benefit of all. Ife Shuluade, OGTV News.
The Ogun State government has begun a 5-day workshop on the annual operational plan of the health sector for the year 2021 in order to take advantage of the 5-year plan. The workshop, which is holistic in nature, is organized in conjunction with the Federal Ministry of Health and other development partners with a view to providing the roadmap timeline for taking the sector to an enviable destination. Declaring the workshop open in Abeokuta, the Commissioner for Health, Dr. Tomi Kuka, said that the gathering was the first of its kind since the state's Strategic Health Development Plan was initiated for 2018 to 2022 by the Federal Ministry of Health to improve the health status of residents of Ogun State. Kuka said that keying into the plan will afford the state the opportunity of scaling up effective service coverage, coordinate support for health, and increase domestic health financing.
This administration, led by His Excellency Prince Dapper Abiodun, deems it fit to provide all necessary support that will enable the Ministry of Health to develop the annual operational plan. And I would also like to appreciate all our development partners.
Said that there are 50 areas of interventions in the plan, which include maternal and child health, non-communicable diseases such as hypertension, diabetes, cancer, tuberculosis, family planning uptake, immunization, and infrastructure, among others, which the state will pursue vigorously without leaving any stone unturned. The Commissioner charged the heads of various agencies and departments in the health sector to be up and doing in the pursuit of the plan, adding that everyone is important in the scheme of things. In his remarks, the head, Planning, Research and Statistics, Federal Ministry of Health, Dr. Angus Ipe, commended the Commissioner for Health for ensuring that the workshop becomes a reality, pointing out that the plan will support the efforts of the sector in the coming year. Ogun State House of Assembly has assured the retirees of the Olabisi Onabanjo University Teaching Hospital who retired between 2010 and 2015 that the relevant government agencies will look into the issue of underpayment of their retirement benefit with a view to making necessary adjustments where necessary. The Chairman, House Committee on Establishment and Public Service Matters, Honorable Modupe Mujota, gave the assurance during a meeting with the members of OOUTH, Retired Officers Forum, led by Mr. Junaid Adeniyi, on the matter, including the Permanent Secretary, Bureau of State Pension, Mr. Olukunle Shodainde, held at the Assembly Complex, Okemoson, Abeokuta. Honorable Mujota appealed to the Bureau to collate all input from the meeting to the government in line with the pension law, so as to make the required recommendations to government with a view to addressing grey areas on the matter.
They are a body of retired individuals. They are no longer within the executive protocol of government. It is therefore difficult, I dare say almost impossible, for them to get the audience of the government to address a matter beyond the writing of an appeal, a petition, such as they have done. That document must still come to you to investigate, probe, clarify, and present the governor with your revised opinion.
According to her, the recommendation is based on the financial capacity of government to accommodate the demands. Hence, the retirees needed to shift ground where necessary in order to move forward. Responding, Permanent Secretary in the Bureau, Mr. Ulukunle Shodainde noted that the current computation being used by the Bureau was in line with the government's approval for the retirees, promising to process any further requests received on the matter. Speaking, the forum chairman, Mr. Junaid Adiniyi, thanked the lawmakers and the Bureau for the meeting, assuring of further engagement with government towards resolving the issue. And still to come in the news, Minister of Education orders investigations into 2.6 billion naira feeding fraud in Unity schools. More news and reports after the break. Glad to know that you're still there. The news continues. They believe in an all-inclusive approach and determination to spread development to every part of Ogun State remains the driving force of the efforts of the current administration in the state to strengthen local governments and make them functional as the closest government to the grassroots. The state governor, Prince Dapo Abiodun, represented by his deputy, Engineer Noimot Salako Ojedele, made this known while commissioning a health center, which is part of the just concluded project slated for commissioning by Ado-Dota local government. Matthew Shoumi completes the reports.
The Ogun State Governor, Prince Dapo Abiodun, represented by the deputy, Engineer Noimot Salako Ojedele, kickstarts the commissioning of 4 projects cutting across different sectors of the life of the people in Ado-Dota local governments. Engineer Salako Oyedele says the health center project located in Ota is a good testament to the premium placed on the sound health for the people.
We know that the local government is where they can feel the pulse of the people best. And as such, the local government was mandated to do a needs assessment right across the local government and come up with what they think the people need.
The Transition Committee Chairman, Alhaji Wasiu Lawal, appreciates the governor for the massive show of support and the opportunity to touch the lives of the people with the projects.
Our resolve immediately after our assumption of office was to embark on food security and enhance the nutritional value of our people. Within 3 months in office, we were able to raise 1,000 broiler chickens.
The governor was then represented by the Commissioner for Local Government and Chieftaincy Affairs, Honorable Afolabi Afuakpe, for the commissioning of lock-up shops at Agunloye Markets in Ado-Odo and inspected the poultry of the local governments. The people of Agbara were filled with joy as expressed by Alagbara of Agbara, Oba Jayola Agumbiade, when they received the representative of the governor for the commissioning of a marriage registry.
With what you have seen now, we know that definitely there are many other things we definitely come. And we are hoping, we are looking forward to seeing more projects, particularly in Agbara.
I'm very excited because this kind of thing have never happened before in Agbara. And I really appreciate Prince Dapo Abiodun.
Honorable Afuakpe says with at least 3 projects in each of the 20 local governments in the state, every part of the state will be touched by governments. A block of 4 classrooms for Afobaje Community Primary School was the last to be commissioned. The commissioner expresses his delight to see the bottom-up approach of governance yielding positive results.
I want to commend the chairman of this country for the really 4 projects that cut across a lot of.
With over 300 pupils already enrolled upon the completion of this block of 4 classrooms and other projects touching different areas of the life of the people, the decision of the current administration in the state to strengthen local governments is now yielding results. Matthew Shoumi, OGTV News.
The federal government said that it was reviewing the cybersecurity law in order to address some of the major developmental challenges currently confronting the nation, including the emergence of new forms of criminality and terrorism perpetrated through cyberspace. The National Security Advisor, Major General Babagana Mangana, retired, who stated this while inaugurating a multi-stakeholder committee to review the National Cybersecurity Policy and Strategy 2014 in Abuja, lamented the inherent threat and risk associated with the revolving nature of cyberspace. The policy is reviewed every 5 years and is due for its first review after it was implemented in 2014. Major General Mangana said the review was part of efforts to reposition the country to benefit internet and cyber domain, enhance national peace, security, and socio-economic well-being. The National Security Advisor noted that recent advancements in the digital era has transformed to cyber domain to a center stage for new businesses, innovations, government functionalities, and social interactions. He, however, highlighted that despite the benefits of the cyber domain, there are inherent threats and risks associated with the evolving nature of cyberspace. The Minister of Education, Malam Adamu, has ordered a full-scale investigation into alleged 2.67 billion naira released for the 104 Unity colleges during the COVID-19 lockdown for meal subsidies. The development came on the heels of a report of the Independent Corrupt Practices and Other Related Offences Commission, ICPC, that a sum of 2.67 billion naira released to the 104 Unity colleges during the COVID-19 lockdown for meal subsidies found its way into individual accounts. A statement from the Federal Ministry of Education through its Director, Press and Public Relations, Ben Gong, on Tuesday said its ministry would collaborate with the ICPC on the Unity Schools investigation. The Speaker of the House of Representatives, Honorable Femi Gbajabiamila, said that the House will work with the Federal Housing Authority, FHA, to deliver housing for homeless Nigerians. Gbajabiamila, according to a statement signed by a special advisor on media and publicity, said he believed Nigerians deserve the best in terms of housing, hence the House's readiness to collaborate with the current management of FHA to achieve the mandate of the agency. Speaking when he hosted the management of Federal Housing Authority, led by the Managing Director, Senator Gbenga Shafa, on a courtesy call on Tuesday, the Speaker said with the quality of the team in the agency, he was confident of the high performance. Gbajabiamila added that the current team, whose Managing Director, Senator Ashafa, and the Executive Director, Business Development, Representative Abdul Mumin Jibrin, were former members of the National Assembly, and they have responsibility which they must carry out diligently. Nigeria needs to be opened to imports in order to balance the supply deficit and deal with an inflation problem as the country attains the age of 60. Some agriculturist experts gave the submission while speaking with OGTV News on the need to improve on the agricultural sector in order to boost the country's socio-economic growth. Elizabeth Esson has the details.
According to statistics, food inflation has grown significantly for the past 2 years, from a rate of 13.31% in September 2018 to 16% in August 2020. As Nigeria marks 60 years of independence, agriculture program of the present administration has recorded growth of 1.58% in the recent GDP report, as the country's entire GDP contracted by 6.1% due to the effect of coronavirus pandemic. According to experts, despite this growth, agriculture is still lagging behind other sectors of the economy.
When you look at the agricultural sector, it has not been wonderfully encouraging in terms of import, because we have been doing much of importing of what we can produce generally, and it has been making us to spend much of our hard-earned currency to take it abroad, and it has led to exporting of our jobs.
So not to say that there are not individual or pockets of effort that is happening in the agricultural sector to ensure that we have food, but the supporting environment to make agriculture thrive has suffered quite a bit, particularly in the last 10-20 years.
The most popular agricultural scheme put in place by the government to cushion the effect of the sector is the Anchor Borrowers Program, launched in November 2015 by the Central Bank of Nigeria to merge the value chain gap between processing companies and small-scale farmers.
Well, Anchor Borrower's program is possibly one of those pockets of things that I said we have been getting right. And I think Ogun State has actually been luckier than most in terms of the way we are implementing our own Anchor Borrower program. But we could do better. We could do it bigger. For instance,
agriculture exports for the first 6 months of 2020 were 204.5 billion naira, which is a sign that productivity is increasing in the sector to enable export growth.
Farmers are not encouraged. When farmers are not given what we call the necessary enabling environment, we find ourselves having what we call import and export imbalancing.
Farmers will invest in the business. Agro-processors will invest in the business. Marketers will invest in the business. Where it becomes a problem is if, as an agricultural entrepreneur, you also have to provide road, you also have to provide electricity, you have to provide water. That's when it becomes a burden, and then it's no longer profitable. But as a country, there's a lot of things we could do for our agricultural sector when we improve the infrastructure supporting agriculture.
Nigeria agriculture production and exports recently have increased significantly as there is more exposure in the sector. However, to increase production for the local consumers, experts are of the opinion that Nigeria needs fewer bodies in the sector and larger mechanized farms. Elizabeth Esson, OGTV News.
The European Union governments have expressed support for Nigeria's candidate for the position of the Director General of World Trade Organization, Dr. Ngozi Okonjo-Iweala, as the race enters the final move. It was reported that the EU governments also agreed in Brussels to select the South Korean candidate, Yoon Myung-hee, who is the country's trade minister, as the second candidate for the job. Hungary swung behind the planned recommendation after being the only EU country to withhold support at a lower level meeting of officials representing the 27-nation bloc last Friday. 5 candidates are still in the race to lead WTO. The remaining contenders were all current or former ministers, a criteria that trade officials had previously said was an important characteristic for a future Director General. The Headquarters 81 Division Nigerian Army will from October 11 to 16, 2020, host the Nigerian Army Captain to Major Practical Promotion Examination in line with the Nigerian Army forecast of Event 2020. A statement from Major Oshoba Olaniyi, Acting Deputy Director, 81 Division, Army Public Relations, added that during the exercise, 65 candidates are expected to participate and tested in various categories of exercises, which include physical and medical fitness, map reading, tactics, low-intensity conflicts, communications, French language, skills at arms, and staff duties at different staging areas. The statement at that examination is aimed at assessing and preparing junior officers towards the attainment of staff course while improving their knowledge and standard in the military profession. Members of the public are thereby advised not to panic in seeing movements of troops and military equipment from 10 to 16 October 2020 between Lagos and Ogun State. As part of the activities lined up for the practical promotion examination, the Commander, Training and Doctrine Command, who is the examination panel, will address the participants at 35 Brigade Officers Mess, Alamala Barracks, Ogun State, on Sunday, 10th October 2020 at 1 in the afternoon, and the closing ceremony will hold on 16th October 2020 at 9 in the morning. Meanwhile, registration for recruitment into Nigerian Army 80 regular recruit intake for both trades and non-tradesmen and women has commenced. According to a statement, recruitment forms can be obtained online free of charge at www.recruitment.army.mil.rig. All applicants will be screened online and qualified candidates will be shortlisted. The statement adds that candidates must be between the ages of 18 to 22 years for non-tradesmen and women and are expected to possess a minimum educational qualification of WAEC, GCE, NECO, NAPTEP with at least 4 credits at not more than 2 sittings, including English language. Candidates applying as tradesmen and women must possess, in addition to the above qualification, trace test and citing and guild certificate. Shortlisted candidates from the online screening will be invited to a physical screening exercise at the State Recruitment Center, 35 Artillery Brigade, Alamala Barracks, Abeokuta, on 23rd November 2020. Registration closes on 9th November 2020. An Ondo State High Court has sentenced the founder of Shotito Bere Prison Chapel, Pastor Samuel Babatunde, also known as Alpha Babatunde, to life imprisonment over the disappearance of 1-year-old boy, Gold Kolawole, in his church. The little boy was abducted by an unknown person during the church service at the children's section of Shotito Bere Prison Chapel, located at Onshile Quarters in Akure, the state capital, in November 2019, and the whereabouts of the boy was never known. To this end, Pastor Babatunde was arrested alongside 7 other members of the church and was arraigned before a magistrate court on 6 counts. However, the matter was later transferred to the State High Court. Delivering his judgment on Tuesday, Justice Olusegun Odushola convicted the defendants, having found them guilty of 2 counts of kidnapping and aiding and abetting to kidnap based on the circumstantial evidence presented by the prosecution. The Chief of Air Staff, Air Marshal Sadiq Abubakar, has tasked the air component of Operation Thunderstrike to intensify its airstrikes against armed bandits and other criminal elements in Kaduna and surrounding states. This is as he also charged them to work with a view to ensuring a return of normalcy to troubled parts of the northwest and north-central zones of the country. In a statement by the Director of Public Relations and Information, Air Commander Ibikunle Daramola, added that the Chief of Air Staff, who was in Kaduna to assess the progress of the newly launched Operation Kashimungu 2, also witnessed the conduct of one of the waves of attack missions by the new air interdiction operation. Air Marshal Abubakar expressed satisfaction with the conduct of the operation, noting that the airstrikes will be sustained to ensure that all identified camps are cleared. The Air Force boss especially lauded the efforts of the young pilots conducting the missions, adding that the air component would also continue to conduct intelligence, surveillance, and reconnaissance missions to identify all other camps. Air Marshal Abubakar urged them to sustain the momentum of operations in a bid to reach the zone of banditry, and then called for synergy with sister agent services and other security agencies to smoke the criminals out of the enclaves. The West African Regional Bloc ECOWAS on Tuesday said it was ending sanction imposed against Mali following a military coup in August that ousted President Ibrahim Boubacar Keïta. In a statement, the Economic Community of West African States, ECOWAS, said heads of state and government have decided to lift sanctions in order to support the handover by the civilian rule. It noted the publication of a transition roadmap and the status allotted to the military leader in the interim government. Former President of Egypt, Anwar Sadat, was assassinated by a group of army officers at a military parade to celebrate Egypt's 1973 war against Israel. OGTV News in this special report takes a look at the first Arab leader who made peace with Israel before his assassination on October 6, 1981. Shemilori Makonju has the details.
The assassination of Anwar Sadat occurred on October 6, 1981. Anwar Sadat, the president of Egypt, was assassinated during the annual victory parade held in Cairo to celebrate Operation Badr, during which the Egyptian army had taken back